Let's be honest, Britain is on the edge, and you deserve the unfiltered truth. Soaring inflation, a battered NHS, leaders in disarray, and the very real danger of the United Kingdom tearing itself apart. Uncertainty is suffocating the nation. Is this the moment the UK unravels for good? Stay with us. What you're about to hear will change how you see everything. The UK is facing a severe cost of living crisis. Prices are soaring, and millions are struggling to afford essentials. Food banks are seeing record demand, and many families are forced to choose between heating and eating. Inflation has reached levels not seen in decades. Wages aren't keeping up, and home ownership feels out of reach for many. Political instability and economic hardship are fueling frustration and calls for change. News headlines are filled with stories of decline. Businesses are closing, unemployment is rising, and the crisis is touching every corner of society. Experts warn that without urgent action, things could get worse. The cost of living crisis is shaping daily life for millions, and the choices made now will shape the UK's future. The UK is facing a severe housing crisis. Rents are soaring, homes are unaffordable, and the dream of home ownership is slipping away for millions. Across the country, to-let signs line high streets, and properties sit empty or out of reach. Local communities are losing their vibrancy as people struggle to find secure, affordable places to live. More young adults are living with parents, unable to save for a deposit. The middle class is shrinking, and housing insecurity is becoming the norm. Rents that were once £800 a month now exceed £1,200, even outside London. The shock of rising costs is nationwide. Evictions are rising, and many face the constant threat of losing their homes. The fear of homelessness is a daily reality. Protests and campaigns for affordable housing are erupting nationwide. The unrest is a clear sign of growing discontent. This isn't just a temporary setback, it's a seismic shift in the UK's housing landscape. The long-term implications could be profound. Policymakers are under immense pressure to find solutions. The decisions made now will shape the future of housing in the UK. The future of the UK's housing market hangs in the balance. The resilience and determination of the people will be crucial in navigating these challenging times. Talk about UK poverty and food insecurity. The UK faces a growing crisis of poverty. Once bustling high streets are now marked by shuttered shops, reflecting economic hardship and uncertainty for many families. Supply chain issues and rising costs have made things worse. Essential goods and food prices have surged, putting pressure on those already struggling. For ordinary people, the impact is clear. More families are struggling to afford groceries, and it's becoming the new normal. The growing poverty crisis has sparked protests and calls for change, as people demand action from the government. The slowdown in trade means fewer jobs and less opportunity, especially for those already struggling. Across the UK, communities are coming together to support one another, but the fight against poverty is far from over. The UK job market is facing a period of profound change and uncertainty. For over a decade, wages have barely kept up with inflation, leaving many workers struggling to make ends meet. Secure, long-term jobs are becoming harder to find, replaced by zero-hour contracts and gig economy roles. Traditional industries have declined, while new sectors demand skills many workers don't yet have. Younger generations face a future of job insecurity and stagnant pay, despite higher qualifications. Meanwhile, the cost of living continues to rise, eroding any small gains in income. Calls for fair pay and stable employment are growing louder across the country. Communities are feeling the impact as local businesses close and opportunities dry up. The need for retraining and support has never been greater. With stagnant wages and an uncertain job market, can the UK adapt to these challenges, or will more people be left behind as the economy shifts? The future of work in Britain hangs in the balance. The tax burden in the UK has quietly reached its highest level in over 70 years. Despite promises of relief, working families and small businesses are paying more of their income in taxes than at any point in recent memory. Council tax, national insurance, and income tax rises have all hit at once, squeezing household budgets even further. But as the tax take increases, many are left wondering, where is the money going? Public services, from the NHS to local councils, are under immense pressure. Waiting lists for hospital treatment have soared, GP appointments are harder to secure, and social care is stretched to breaking point. Libraries, youth centres, and community hubs have closed their doors, victims of repeated budget cuts. Even basic services like rubbish collection and road repairs are being scaled back. Many Britons feel they are paying more but getting less. The frustration is palpable as taxes rise but services decline. Is this sustainable? Or is the social contract beginning to fray? As the nation faces mounting challenges, the debate over tax and public spending has never been more urgent. How much more can people bear before the system reaches breaking point? The housing crisis and homelessness, now with the added impact of Brexit. Since Brexit, uncertainty has shaken the housing market. House prices remain at record highs in many areas, but demand from EU nationals has dropped, leaving some properties empty while others become unaffordable. Rent is swallowing up paychecks, and since Brexit, the cost of imported building materials has risen by over 20%, pushing up rents and slowing new construction. Homelessness is rising at an alarming rate. In 2023, over 271,000 people were recorded as homeless in England alone. Even those saving for years struggle to afford a deposit. Public services are stretched. Brexit has led to staff shortages in the NHS and social care, making it harder for vulnerable people to get help. The housing crisis is deepening, and public services are under pressure. Will the government step in before it's too late, or will Brexit's aftershocks continue to worsen the crisis? Charities and communities are stepping up, but the scale of the problem is overwhelming. Real families are being forced out of their homes and support services are stretched thin. With so many empty homes and public services under strain, why are so many still without a roof over their heads? The government must act now to address this crisis, before Brexit's legacy makes it irreversible. Stagnant wages, job market shifts, and cost of living. Across the UK, wages have barely kept up with inflation, leaving many struggling to make ends meet. At the same time, the job market is shifting, traditional roles are disappearing, and new skills are in demand. Sectors like healthcare and agriculture face not only staff shortages, but also pressure from rising costs and changing job requirements. Meanwhile, stagnant wages mean workers have less to spend, deepening the impact of the cost of living crisis. Businesses struggle to attract talent as pay fails to keep up with soaring expenses. For many, frustration is growing. Wages, job security, and living costs are all colliding. Without action, these compounding issues could stall the economy and deepen inequality. The UK must find ways to boost wages, adapt to job market changes, and ease the cost of living burden for its people. The UK faces a web of crises: climate change, cost of living, housing shortages, and poverty, all feeding into each other. Overheating cities and eroding coasts worsen housing problems, while pollution and rising costs deepen poverty and strain public health. Efforts in renewable energy and green initiatives are promising, but economic pressures and political fatigue slow progress. The fallout from Brexit, stagnant wages, and rising taxes further destabilize the economy, making solutions harder to achieve. Environmental decline, struggling public services, and political exhaustion are all interconnected, compounding the nation's challenges. As these crises overlap and intensify, the need for unified, comprehensive action becomes ever more urgent, setting the stage for our next discussion. Once a global powerhouse, the UK is losing its voice on the world stage. Brexit weakened its international standing, and economic struggles have reduced its influence. While it remains a UN Security Council member, Britain now struggles to shape global policies the way it once did. Is its era as a world leader coming to an end? The UK's declining global influence is evident in its reduced presence and impact on international affairs. Britain is at a crossroads. Economic turmoil, political chaos, and a fractured union are testing the nation's resilience. Can it turn things around with strong leadership and economic reform, or is decline inevitable? One thing is certain: the status quo cannot hold. Action is needed now. But what do you think? Is there still hope for Britain, or is disaster unavoidable? The future of the UK hangs in the balance. If you found this breakdown insightful, take a moment to like, subscribe, and join our growing community of informed viewers. Your engagement helps us continue creating in-depth, quality content that keeps you ahead of the curve. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay informed, and see you in the next one.